Hello, this is a presentation about networks, and you can see that social networks are part of networks, but not for this presentation.
You may be asking yourself, what is network connections? Networking that you find at the school will be such things as
In its most basic sense, a network is a tool used to connect two people or things, or people to a thing or a person. So this can be seen as people connecting on their computers and sharing files, or people connecting to such things as a printer. Oops. This is a picture of me, and it says which computer goes to what printer. Got all these different options, and there's only one printer in the room, and there's other printers at the school, and you got to figure out how it's all networked and how to find everything in the network. In this day and age, oops. In this day and age, the World Wide Web and all the connections make up the biggest networks that we use. These networks connect everything and everybody in the world. Maybe not everybody, but one can just imagine what would happen if we did not have network connectivity for one day, at least in a place like the Dominican Republic or the United States. Things would come to a halt, everything. Telecommunications, economies, all that stuff. So computer networks consist of generally the three components. You have the end user, the client, you have the hardware and cables that the data runs through, and then you have the network hardware such as servers and routers and whatnot. Here's a video that outlines it a little bit.
I have received several requests for a tour of my home network, so here you go.
I have dedicated an entire closet to be the heart of my home network. I actually screwed a piece of plywood to the wall so that I could freely mount any network hardware I needed. My main connection to the internet is a standard old cable modem provided by Charter Cable. I actually have 2 terabytes of file storage. The way I have this configured is with 4 hard drives, each one being 1 terabyte. However, only 2 of the hard drives are used for file sharing. The other 2 are backup drives, and each night a script is run to automatically clone the data from the main hard drives. These drives are all daisy-chained through a single FireWire connection on this old Mac Mini G4, which works as my file server, web server, amongst other things. I also do my voice narration recording in here. That is why I have the big microphone connected. All of these Ethernet cables go up into the attic where they are distributed around the house to wall jacks like this one. I labeled each jack with a number that corresponds to a particular port on a particular switch. That way, if I ever need to troubleshoot a connection, I know where the other end goes. I'm a strong believer in Ethernet. While I do have 2 wireless access points in my house, one at each end, I do not use these for anything except mobile devices. So I have quite a few things connected to my Ethernet switches. I'll show you some of it. I have a color laser printer. I do not believe in inkjet printers. I think they're a big waste of money since the ink costs more than the printer. I also have a black and white laser, copier, and scanner on the network. This is my main office, or computer room. This is how things look day to day. I didn't clean anything up for you. This is my main computer, which is a Mac Mini. This is where I edit all of my videos. Here is a workbench I use for everything from repairing computers to shooting videos of things. These 2 Mac Mini setups are for my 2 kids. I even have a computer in my garage. I have a cheap monitor on the wall and this old Mac Mini G4. I use it mostly for displaying PDF images or searching the web while I'm working on projects in the garage. This is my wife's desk, and yes, it stays that messy most of the time. This is my living room TV. Besides the Nintendo Wii, you'll also see this little black Western Digital box. This thing is wired into my network and allows me to watch Netflix, Hulu, or files stored on my local main file server. I have one of these on every TV in the house. This is essentially our only source of television content. We have no cable or satellite.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour. I would just like to point.
Okay, so this guy showed a very good video about his network at his home. So the question is, in thinking of the three components of a network, let's review what the three were in this man's video. What is the end user in this situation? Think about that. Why don't you think, pair share? Another question is, what is the hardware and cables that the data transfers through in this man's network? And lastly, where did you see the servers and routers and whatnot? Think about that for a moment. Answers: yes, the end users or clients are the man, his wife, and his kids. Yes, the hardware and cables that pass data are the Ethernet cables that he has going from the server to his Ethernet plugs. Yes, the 4 1 terabyte hard drives are his server, and the 2 wireless routers are the networking electronics. That's it. He set up his own thing, and his own network in his house, and he has his printers lined up. He has, the Wi-Fi connected. He has everything he needs for his home, and that's a small scale. And what we have at schools is a bigger scale, and office buildings is even bigger. Here's a simple diagram. You can see that you have the hub. This would be where the server is and whatnot. This is where the data goes through, the cables, and this is where the end user does their part. And if you're in a school, computer A might be a classroom, computer B might be another classroom, and C another classroom, D a secretary, and that's kind of what network connecting is when it comes to computers. Here are some links and references in order for you to get a better idea, and that is it. Thanks.